We ready for some news?
Yes.
Hear the news. That's right, the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. But you gotta get those side effects. You know, I hate these Windows updates, so if you see me struggling, it's because stuff's just acting weird. I'll just tell you, this computers, man, I'm telling you. But whatever. Tomorrow, Tuesday, what normally would not be any news. Normally, who cares about Senate elections in Alabama? But tomorrow, Tuesday, this may be the record lookout worldwide at a Senate race from Alabama, and all because of Roy Moore. And let me just set it up for you. Roy Moore been twice removed from elective office because of violations. Known bigot, proud. He's like that old school Southern bigot. Proud to be a bigot.
Yes. Yeah.
Proud to be a segregationist.
Ain't gonna change.
Proud to let you know they don't tolerate niggers. Oh yeah, that's when we was niggers. Back, we've been a bunch of shit, and niggers was one of them. But Roy Moore, so he's been there, and I must admit, the guy up against him, the Democratic candidate, in any other instance, I wouldn't be caring for him either. Moderate is what they call him, but just typical of an Alabamian who seeks to avoid the controversy,
right,
for the most part, even though, like I said, well, maybe that's unfair because he is pro-choice. Let's just say, under normal circumstances, we wouldn't feel wonderful about him. And that may be part of it because actually everyone is saying, for Roy Moore not to win, you're really going to need a big turnout amongst the blacks. And the problem is that the Democratic candidate, he's not one who really is appealing to the local blacks. That no one wants to say that. There's a bunch of things about this election that no one wants to say.
Right.
And that's why we wanted to talk about it. For one, it is a referendum on the South. Because whether people actually talk about it in those terms, the South is really tired of being thought of as the old backwards South. Backwards and stupid.
Right.
Are the terms that people apply to Southerners, who really resent that. But let's talk about this. This Alabama election, Vic, that sort of highlights that. And when they look at the polls, the Alabamians who have college degrees, they can't vote for Roy Moore.
Not at all, man.
See, I'm just saying, the more educated folks in Alabama, whatever we think that means, that's another show I know. But the more educated folks in Alabama don't support Roy Moore. But most of the less educated do support him. As we say, the more dumber you are, the more likely you are to be an avid Roy Moore. The more backwards Southern, more racist, bigoted, I'll go on and say it, you are, the more likely you are to support Roy Moore.
So you're talking about age. Typically,
as one of the factors,
was a heavy factor.
Well, yeah.
Because when I go look at the crowds now, look, we've been part of something before. I won't even say what it was. I know people are going to say, well, what is it? And we were so busy enjoying it, being part of something, had nothing to do with politics, it was all entertainment. And then we did the video and everything. And then you, in the moment, are thinking, yeah, this is going to represent all the landscape of people, and they all enjoy it. And some people came back and said, I noticed that you guys had a whole bunch of old people in there. It didn't reflect anything about the youthful recognition of the celebration of this entertainment vehicle that you were on. In other words, it didn't hit me until I said, yes, that's right, everybody's over this age. So it didn't reflect. So I'm not indicting all of Alabama. And when I say my people, I know the ones that are here on this side and those who are stuck in the mud. I understand that. But politics knows how to have a voice that says this is the whole state, including you guys.
Well, that's the problem. Alabama, the people... There are a bunch of folks who are on the news now,
right?
Who are white leadership of Alabama, who really are upset because they don't like their state once again appearing to be backwards. Yes. That's what's happening, and they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed. Why we have to be known as the state where you could be a senator and date teenagers? Why we got, and everybody says, and when you know what's happening, isn't that what we say? When they say, oh yeah, in Alabama, you could date teenagers.
Unbelievable.
Everybody said, probably in Mississippi too.
Unbelievable. I sit there and say, hey, look, maybe this is it. Maybe, I shouldn't say this. Respect to the family members who are not like this. Maybe this is karma of George Wallace, the ghost returning. Okay, I'll say that.
Do we think Alabama is really backwards? But I think actually what it is, Vic.
Not the areas, absolutely not the progressive. I heard some wonderful stories at our event.
Birmingham is a different place today.
It's a different.
Even though rural Alabama, shockingly, there was just a big study that showed they're broken, poor, and dumb.
Right.
And the fact that it's Alabama, nobody's talking. In other words, there's places in this country so neglected by government. You understand why they don't feel these elections.
There are areas, I can't confirm this, but in speaking on the event the other day, I was sharing this with somebody. Well, they were sharing it with me. And I was telling them, hey, he asked me where I'm from. I said, I'm from Los Angeles. My family's Birmingham. That's it now. That's my family now. And the person was sharing, I says, oh, my brother's over here and over there. And we start sharing more information. He says, do you know that Huntsville and that whole area, that area has more PhDs than Silicon Valley does, but you don't hear the stories. So a lot of times it's the information.
They got people like Roy Moore.
You have to seek out the information and not let traditional media, even our media, if it's social, be the only thing you digest. And so sharing that with him, I said, do you notice that they're not worried about getting a They're just doing their job. They're going along, making sure they're going in a lane of education, development. It has nothing to do with the old guard being stuck in the mud, stuck in their ways. So this is not an indictment on the whole state. I'm not going to fall for the whole state of Alabama. But it is fighting off that image of you guys are going backwards now. Roy's leading the way.
And it's really, and I'm with you, I'm not indicting the whole state, but I am willing to say you're standing at a crossroads where you could be known for once. Are you going to throw off all that old Southern bigotry?
Right.
Really, finally, ever? Are you ever going to throw that shit off? Are you going to cling to it forever? And don't be surprised that people aren't sympathetic.
Right. So,
if you want to cling to Roy Moore, if you rather have a 30-some-year-old man who dates 14-year-olds, if that means less to you than the fact that he's a quote-unquote Democrat, well, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. That's what you look up the term idiot, and they have your picture. Okay?
Yeah.
So go there and get there. So, again, that's part of the good news, the bad news. The other shit, and we'll see what happens tomorrow with the president himself accused by a dozen or so women standing up for Roy Moore. The dynamics are wonderful. The articles are everywhere, and no matter what, the Republican Party, man, they're losing ground. The Republican Party now gets to be known as the party of segregationist bigots who date teenagers. That's the Republican Party, and believe me, I know a bunch of Republicans who hate this. I know who aren't that, but that's their party. They're the party of Donald Trump. They're the party of racism. And what's so amazing, they've been losing points. But what's equally amazing?
What is that?
For all the points they have been losing, the Democrats haven't gained 1 point.
Oh, no.
And they're not because Schumer, no offense, Nancy Pelosi and Schumer.
No.
I don't know.
No.
They're not inspiring my support. I don't know about you all.
No.
The Democrats, I'm an indie. And the Democrats are not really inspiring my support. And like I said, I'm one of the people who've been advocating a total abandonment of the two-party system. I think it's a joke. Go back and look at the numbers. They've been almost 50-50 within a 5 to 10 point spread for almost the damn entire existence.
Right.
Which tells you already it's bullshit.
Let me ask you something. Just from a perspective of an individual and a person based on society and the norms and everything. I always will ask this question. Do we get stronger, smarter, and wiser throughout the lifespan of our time on this planet? Or are there diminished returns where all of a sudden we've already peaked physically, mentally, and consciously, and all of a sudden there's the other side where there's dwindling returns? I would like to know where as a person who's just going, look, Victor, if I had to take a stab at it, I think we're at our best at about 35, 40. Try to tell me that these are the best thinkers when you're at 70 plus, 60 something. I mean,
traditionally, that's not the case.
I would like to know because it helps my
Traditionally, it's not the case. But maybe at 61, I can tell you that my priorities are different. My priorities have changed. But my ability to explain those priorities may have decreased.
Right? No, that's not what I'm talking about. Wait a minute. I
might need a nap. I might need a nap first.
I'm not trying to laugh.
For any of that.
See, I just want to know, okay, everybody has parents, right? We all have relatives. Don't we sit there when we're around them, as smart as they can be, as legacy makers and everything? They're mostly stuck in a time warp. Do you find that that's the case?
I'm waiting to see if that happens to me. My mother has reached a point where she almost has made that decision where they don't want to learn anything new. Now, I'm not sure everybody does that. It certainly appears to be common. I know a bunch of people that are like in their 40s who act like learning is stressful. Like, wow, shit, dude, I've learned everything I want to learn because this learning is wearing my ass out. So they at 40, they decide to, from this point on, be dumb.
Right.
Or not learn anything else. You can debate whether that's dumb. So I don't know what to tell you. I have a bunch of friends. It's a divine... see what group you're in.
Okay.
As you get older, do you get to a point where you just decide you can't learn anything else? I don't know. I haven't hit that point.
Okay.
But I am certainly around a bunch of other people who have. Some, I get my mom, she's 84 years old.
Okay.
But even still, I wonder if I would be like that at 84. I think I probably won't, but we'll see. Other folks, like we said, 40 and 50, right, Vic? We know some of our friends, and you know who you are, can't figure out a cell phone. Tell you the truth, I tell them, of all the stuff you've had to do in your life, all the hurdles, all the challenges, you mean the one thing that can whip your ass is a mobile phone? You can't learn a mobile phone. That's just too challenging. And I give him a look and the look I give him is just like this, Vic, too. Like,
I understand.
It's a look that behind the look goes, "You're stupid. You're really stupid." But it looks like this.
Okay. Okay. Let me do it. Let me even it out on this because I understand the technology, and I'm literally going to say what is the first thought that comes in your mind because I truly believe you don't use a policy. There's three. There's A, B, and C. A, you walk in. You at your hottest. You walk into A, and A, most of everybody, at the time that you're in right now, they're mostly in their mid-20s at most. You walk into B, they're mostly closer to your age, maybe a few years younger. And then you walk into C, and they're all like 65 and older. When you walk into the event, what is the first thing you think when you walk into A event when it's younger?
Party, sex.
Can you keep up?
Can you keep up?
Yeah, right. Now you walk into your event, you feel like we relatable.
Do you want to keep up?
Right.
And the next group, they call out the burial suite.
Okay. And the last group, the C group, the wise, all wonderful, history, a lot behind them, legacy, development, will tell you about the times. And you walk in there, what is the first thing you think when you walk in the door? You think, see this?
No, I'm just kidding. No, but the point is, all old folks ain't the same. No, Mac puts in Facebook, says at 78 he falls asleep doing foreplay. See, and Mac is the one who told us, he said, you can have as much sex as you want as you get older, as long as you can stand the sight of someone your own age naked.
Right.
Which is challenging.
Right.
Which is challenging.
See, listen, all I'm saying is this. It's a lot of people can reflect an energy as being a sponge. And age may be relative and it may not be. But some people act like they want to get old fast. Some people want to stay as young as possible. And some people say, hey, look, I can do both. I can move in this area over here, but I'm very open to where things are going progressively. And I like that choice where it says you don't have to try not to act your age. You just have to have an open mind and not block every time what you don't do anymore. Don't let that get in the fucking way. Don't tell me all the things that you don't want to do anymore.
Don't start off
I'll
saying,
give you a phone
I
number.
don't want to.
Call 911 and tell them, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. See if they help you.
That's our suggestion. Don't start off by saying what you won't do.
Right.
Just like those women. Before you get started, let me say, if you A, don't have a job, B, baby mama, C. All this shit is when they first thing they got to tell you what they don't want.
Right.
What they don't know is turning a bunch of us off. I'm at the get-go. Like, well, you don't have to worry about me, sister girl.
There you go.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying whoever it is.
Well,
I'm just saying.
It's not just a woman thing and a man
No, I'm
thing.
just saying, if you're going to be negative, you're going to run into those kind of things. I do point out Mac, because at 78, at least he's doing 3D. He just learned
I understand. Absolutely.
video editing and animation at 78.
You know what? You really sit there.
Come on.
You think about it, because when you're younger and you're coming up, and everything is flying and flowing. You're learning, you're embracing, getting empowered, better job, getting your car, dating, everything, traveling. You don't spend a lot of time talking about what you won't do and what you don't want to do. Notice how as age people use that as a fundamental block. Well, you know, I've gone through a lot. Oh, by the way, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to do. I said, so you're taking the power of those experiences and letting those people put that imprint on you. You shouldn't do that. You should just leave those things alone and say, let me tell you what I like to do. Don't give me anything about what you don't want to do. I'm not that person. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to be nice about it, man. So, hey, with the Roy Moore thing, they're stuck in a time warp. And they're going to hold on, even if it means they say, look,
well,
this is our legacy. You're not going to change our mind. That small group is going to stay there.
And like I tell everybody when I am asked to discuss things like that where people are stuck, I said the good news and the bad news is that, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you want to take it, one day they'll be dead. One day they'll all be gone. Yep. So everybody who has these point of view will have passed on. Yep. And that's just the truth. So maybe they will take it to their grave, but God damn it, they damn sure is going to the grave. You can take it with you, and if you're proud of that, bye-bye.
Me.
Get either busy living or get busy dying. Get out the way, whatever.
Well, you know.
That is the way the world goes.
Yeah.
All right. Issue number 2, and I have 3 today. American Airlines has responded to the NAA travel advisory with promises to make change. What am I talking about? American Airlines had unique position of being identified by the NAACP as an airline that treated black folks negatively. Mm-hmm. And a bunch of reports. They actually had made the mistake of American Airlines of messing with the wrong passenger. And they had a sister there who was very well connected legally in her position. And she took it to another level.
Yes, she did.
And so now American Airlines has been forced to respond. And people who work at American Airlines started all the social media whispering, oh yeah, they're racist. They're really racist. So they're having to call in their whole corporate culture. Which what that really means, Vic, is they have to notify all their administrators. Well, the public now knows all of you all are racist. So we say change our corporate culture. What we're really meaning usually is get rid of all the racist old white men at the top. That's usually what it means. To get some other white folks, usually men or women who are not racist, because usually the restructuring doesn't include that many people of color. You may get 1 or 2 to come in and head up a commission.
Right. Right.
But in general, it means getting full of the old, overtly racist, backwards, misogynist, old white men.
Right.
To get some newer white folks with a few Asians and a scarce black or Latino person in there to add some flavor.
And first of all,
because they said they would have told them, they would have known it was racist because the black people said, "Shh, don't do that.
Right,
it's racist."
Yeah. No, look, the airline industry is already fraught with not having the reputation of squeezing everything out of you that they can. So it's not like they had this overwhelming culture of servicing you without you having to already go through delays as if you're in a traffic jam just to be there for the security and all the other reasons. So they already didn't have a good reputation across the board. But you do know, given time, people who are empowered and who tend to say, if I let this go by, then I'm just passing the buck. And most of the time, people are having a lot of numerous bad experiences. I've seen several stories relatable to this once it came out about different things. May not necessarily be racist, but it's just bad customer service in general. So they're already suffering from this right now. All it means is this, is if all of a sudden things start going into a legal precedent, you just have your airfares hiked. At the end of the day, they just know how to, that's all they do.
All right, in our weekly Trump disaster update, the big talk going on right now, as the administration does everything it can to gear up, to discredit. Isn't it amazing how Mueller hasn't said anything, really, but they're trying super hard to discredit him before he even gets started to say anything, which is amazing, which shows you. I'm amazed at the people, but remember their names. That's what I'm trying to do. See, I'm trying to write down, store all the names of the assholes out there who are coming out supporting the president.
Right.
I want to be able to throw that in their face.
Right.
I believe that's totally fun,
right,
reasonable. You should be able to throw this. I believe in public shaming.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So you're not cutting off a limb. You're not lynching them.
Right.
Public shaming. So I'm making note of all the folks that are supporting the president because I want to be able to say, I told you so.
Right.
But then Bannon has warned Trump that he's getting, quote unquote, happy talk from his lawyers and should be more aggressive. Now, in my opinion, there's a couple of reasons for this, which all will lead to the president's downfall. The president is difficult to work with. So when he's stressed out, he's even more difficult to work with. So the attorneys want him to be in a good state. The attorneys want him to be
happy.
Yeah. Because when he's not happy, what does he do? He tweets. And then the tweets make everything worse, which makes him worse. So now, Bannon says that Trump is getting happy talk from his lawyers. Well, the lawyers probably trying to keep him from tweeting. Because they have to spend all their time catching up on his tweets. They can't get to the other stuff. So they want, and actually I told you, I want Trump on the happy side. He's got his finger on the button. Until you guys get his ass out of office, he is the single commander of our armed forces. You understand that?
Yeah.
There's no one to validate his decisions.
None.
There's no one who says that's okay.
Right.
He could just say, I have a bad morning. Melania won't give me any, and I'm going to blow up North Korea.
Yeah.
Because I had a rough morning. He could. That's why I want him to be in a good state. Everything he needs. I hope he gets all of it. Melania, take care of Cheeto. Take care of him because we don't. It may not be enough. He might have to get some Hope Hicks.
Yeah, man. Hey, look. All right.
So the president is getting happy talk from his lawyers. He is overconfident. And to be truthful with you all, as we enter the new year, I actually prefer him being that way.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give it to him for that.
Yeah. Give him hope.
That's the good news. The bad news and the other shit. If Vic got the final word, he's saying, give them hope. Give them hope. Hope Hicks. Give them hope.